John Harbaugh, and the reason I don't think that we're going to probably go with him is because, as we said, a lot of people may know, but in case you don't, he wants $20 million per year, $10 million staff bonus. I mean, I'm sorry, a budget for $10 million for his staff. He wants total authority over the roster and the ability to pick his own GM. And for several reasons, I think that we're not going to go with that. For one, we've never seen John Harbaugh have any autonomy over a team in terms of picking player personnel. And the one player that we know he picked this year was the kicker, who had to replace Justin Tucker. And that kicker basically is the reason that they're not in the playoffs right now. And John Harbaugh's stamp is supposed to be as a special teams coach primarily. So it's very telling that he picked a guy who wasn't that great with it as well, too. And also keep in mind that, again, he wants to be able to have full control over his GM, and it's very uncustomary for a coach to pick the GM. That's very backwards. That's like a car picking its driver, if you will. And so I don't think that they would go through all of the hoops that they've gone through and making sure that they selected Matt Ryan and having him be a part of the sports agencies that are coming in just to let John Harbaugh be able to pick the groceries and everything. I mean, this is a very Bill Parcells-like move or a very Belichickian move, and I just don't see him as the same type of football mind as those two guys. As a matter of fact, the last few videos that I put out there, I got a mixed bag depending on where I said it at. But I said I don't think that I think John Harbaugh's a little bit overrated. On Facebook, people tried to tear me a new one. On TikTok, they agreed with me. They were like, yeah, he's a little bit overrated. What does he really do? And I kind of look at that like I feel as though he doesn't put any particular stamp on the football game. And sometimes he gets a little bit out-coached. I've seen some people say that Lamar Jackson is the reason that they didn't win in Baltimore and some of his lack of execution. But if you look at that, the divisional round last year when they played against the Bills, Lamar Jackson was playing his ass off. But John Harbaugh had some questionable decisions at that point in time. He's made some very bad calls sometimes with play clock management, taking timeouts at the wrong times. And even the year before that, when they were playing against the Chiefs, if I'm not mistaken, or maybe it was the year before that, even before that, the Ravens played the Chiefs a couple of times in the playoffs, and they were playing really good against the Chiefs, but their defense got very undisciplined at times. They started to get a lot of penalties, and I think that that's a staple. And the thing with John Harbaugh, we don't want to see that we've had with Raheem Morris that we don't want to repeat. So that was my thought.
That was the year before last, by the way, because I think they got put out by Buffalo last year. Adam, I'm gonna say, the tight end missed the ball.
Yeah, Andrews dropped the pass. Yep.
Right.
Yep.
Agreed. So that was the year before that you're referring to.
Agreed. So where do you guys think that we're going? I believe that we're probably going to go for that reason. I believe that we might very well go with Kubiak from Seattle. And one reason that I love that, aside from him developing a quarterback, is that McDonald, his head coach, he has a reputation that if something isn't working, he's going to scrap it. You saw he got rid of his OC the first year, and he went ahead and brought in Kubiak. He's not afraid to go away from players if they're messing up. And he's not afraid to bitch somebody regardless of who they are. He's not afraid to get rid of players. You see they didn't have Tyler Lockett or DK Metcalf this year. They moved on from him, and they entrusted Jackson Smith and Jigba to do his thing. And, I mean, he's looking like one of the top 5 receivers in the league right now.
I think numerically he finished number 1.
Okay. Yeah. He was up there in a lot of his statistical categories. I know that was fluctuating a lot of the year. A lot of people think that Puka Nacua is the best receiver in the league. I think that Jackson Smith and Jigba is overall better than him. You were saying earlier that you'd also like to see Robert Saleh. I want you to expand on that a little bit. And Doe, I want to know who's your favorite that you'd like to see as well as a coach.
Okay, so the thing about, let me get in Kubiak a little bit. There are absolutely some pros. He's an up and coming guy. Like you said, you named a couple of nuances. That's his ties definitely give him his edge. You see what he does offensively. I got to bring it back to the Matt Ryan state of mind. So if you mix these minds together, you got two great offensive minds advocating in the same direction. I like the idea of that, you know. So and then you put that, and then you have, if he's a person that is coming, he's only 38 years old. That could be a pro or it could be a con. You know, it's just how we put the people around him is what's going to determine whether it's a pro or con. So we absolutely have to wait for all the evidence to be presented in order to interject a verdict from the standpoint that we sit at. But they've already blocked people, and I got to bring Brick into this because I personally believe Brick is going to be a selling point, because if you really think about it from a viewer's point of view, who's better than Brick right now at defensive coordinator that we can physically go out, reach, and put hands on and bring him to Atlanta? And he's here. And I think Dallas came in and they wanted to interview him, and they was like, no, we're not doing that. So that to me speaks volumes in far as what checks and balance are to present itself. So moving forward to a Robert Saleh, Brick and Robert Saleh already have a relationship. Ulbrich is our defensive coordinator. If you don't know, and Saleh, they were in New York together, the Jets. Robert Saleh was actually the head coach for the Jets, and things were going good. And Mo, you mentioned that what to me, when it kind of started going left, was when they brought Aaron Rodgers in, and they kind of
Right.
gave him a little too much control. It was kind of like, if you don't know about Johnny Unitas, you can go back and look this up. Johnny Unitas was actually a player as well as a coach. And they kind of did that to Aaron Rodgers, because he was calling a lot of shots, even in the front office of coaches and bringing players there and paying them all this illustrious amount of money. What was the wide receiver Adams? He plays for the Rams now. I think that's his name, right?
Devontae.
Devontae Adams out of he was with Las Vegas at the time, and they bought him in, handed him a bag for that 1 year, on that 1 year, and now he's playing with the Rams. But anyway, they had already had a connection up there in Green Bay. That was it was a dumpster fire. So Salah lost his job, I want to say week 3, possibly 4, and Brick stepped in as the interim coach, and it was pretty much a dumpster fire. But prior to that, the 3 years that they were together, their defense never dropped below top 5. I'm not listen to me, never, and they were high as 3. So you're talking top 3 to 5 defense for 3 years consistently, not 1 year hit and wonder where the hell they went after that. It wasn't a hit and try and let's keep trying to admit, no, this was consistent. This was a consistent thing. So for me, I mean, Kubiak, that pushes Kubiak and Saleh a little bit to the top of that list. I can only concur with you on in most of the things you said, and a few other nuances that pushes me kind of away from the John Harbaugh situation. Not to say that I'm totally out on it, but some of his list of demands to me is like the fact that we went and got Matt Ryan and put him in the situation he is, the fact that we're blocking Brick. It's kind of leading towards not handing anybody autonomy. Like I really can't fathom, like, okay, we do all that and we bring in a guy that wants total autonomy, and if he doesn't get that, I mean, he's set up throughout the league where Miami has fired Mike McDaniels, and I mean, Mike McDaniels it seemed like he was on the end until John Harbaugh got fired. And once he got fired, it was kind of like, okay, well, let's make some room here. You know, that's kind of how with Miami and Weaver, who is their defensive coordinator, he's interviewing for head coaching spots. You know, that could fall up under the Rooney Rule, because we actually did interview him, because there's nothing that says without a reasonable doubt put him higher than Kubiak, Harbaugh, or even Saleh. You know, so I could go either way with that, and predicated on who we hire would tell me more so of which way we were leaning.
No, absolutely, absolutely. And Joe, we're gonna go to you, but real quick, want to give a shout out to the chat again. If you guys are just tuning in with us and you haven't already, and you love what we're doing over here, you love just unbiased, non-emotional, balanced football conversation and breakdowns, hit that like and subscribe, and make sure you touch that notification bells for us as well. And hype us up and comment out here and let us know in the group chat what you think about Matt Ryan being hired. But Doe, I want to get your thoughts real quick before we move on to some of the offseason moves that I think we should go forward on as we're watching. We are broadcasting during the game right now, the Rams versus the Panthers. The Rams are up right now. But hey, let me get your thoughts real quick as well, Doe Smith.
Oh, you guys pretty much said a mouthful, so I'll credit you guys for that. I'll just be quick. I mean, I think the way the Falcons work, we're gonna have Kevin Stefanski as the coach. I just
Ooh.
just adding up to that. It's
You really like Stefanski. We've been talking about him a lot.
You know what?
That's the second time. That's the second time bringing him up.
No,
Man,
the reason I
several
bring
times.
him up because I say that because just how the Falcons work, you know, for some reason I just feel like we're not gonna go Kubiak because everyone wants Kubiak. I mean, he's to me the smartest and brightest pick. He's offensive minded coach. Of course, he's gonna pick like minded coaching personnel with him as well. But I just think Stefanski. They're gonna like his grit because he's a getting at what type coach,
Absolutely.
and they're gonna want that. But Atlanta fans are gonna be upset because they're gonna be like, hold up, I don't like the way he treated that quarterback situation over there with them Browns, and so
Right.
That's my reason. Is you gonna pull the trigger?
This is a chocolate city, and some people think it got something to do with his how he feels about
Brothers and sisters.
yeah. So what I'm saying. So I'm not saying he's anything like that, but people got that assumption because he tries so hard not to roll with the kid. But hey, we'll see. I just feel like it's a Falcons move. I hope not. I hope we do get Kubiak. I think he's a better fit for the Falcons, especially the weapons that we have on this team. I mean, I just think he will make such a great addition to this team, and then also by him being a newly hired head coach, it wouldn't be hard to I guess get him to go with Ulbrich as the defensive coordinator as well.
Yeah, that's a
Absolutely.
good selling point.
I think that and just to touch on your point about Stefanski real quick, I also do think that he could be really good for this team as well too, because he's had some really good rushing attacks up in Cleveland.
Yes, he did.
He's been able to made really good use of Nick Chubb and
Yes.
Kareem Hunt out there. He's been able to win without a premier quarterback, and it's ironic he also didn't want Deshaun Watson either.
Right.
So that's kind of interesting. I'm like, who does he like? Really
Right.
coach?
That's like, okay, you don't want John, you don't want the young son. I mean,
He said, but give me the other guy. What's the other guy name? Gabriel.
Dylan Gabriel. Like,
Give
but
me him.
he actually liked Dylan Gabriel, and that was epic fail.
Right. That's why if he comes, you guys better strap up because we either getting Kirk back, or I don't think Kirk want to come back here, but we either getting Kirk back or we're gonna get not
Kirk
Daniel
definitely
Jones. What's his name from they play with San Francisco?
Oh, Mac Jones.
Matt Jones.
Yeah, Mac.
Bro,
Mac
why
Jones.
would I'm like, you put a lot out, you throwing a lot on me, bro, and it's like I'm like, man, like why would they do all this stuff to go to like kind of like not move the needle? Because that's basically what that would do. That would not move the needle to your point. Like, I don't know. They had to be doing all this stuff and getting us all hyped up and something. Come on now. Don't. Let's not stand still. Let's move.
Let's move. Let's make a splash. I know everybody want the flashy guy, like you were saying, Simo. We was on the phone the other day. A lot of people want the Harbaugh brother. I mean, I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right. I never was a fan of him.
John Harbaugh.
I never was a fan of him. Yeah, he came in when coaches stayed for 5+ years. No matter if he was good or not. Like, yeah, okay.
In that division, yes, absolutely.
Yeah, he was that guy, right? As long as you can make it to the playoffs, how can you fire a guy like that, right?
Right.
They just never, made it past that point. I mean, them lights wouldn't have went out. Say what you want in that stadium. San Francisco have been hoisting the.
San Francisco, I think, was going to win that game.
They was going to win that game. They
That
got the air deflated out them tires.
That was the weird.
They did that to them. They did that to themselves because they ran the ball all the way to the Super Bowl, and then all of a sudden
they start passing.
He drops back and starts trying to get what was their quarterback name from
Colin Kaepernick?
Kaepernick, yeah.
Wasn't Colin Kaepernick?
Yes, it was.
It was Colin Kaepernick.
Yes, it was. Because that's their year, and they probably would have did better if they kept Steve. If they kept not Steve Smith, but if they would kept
Alex Smith.
Alex Smith.
If they would have kept starting because he was there.
If they that's what I'm saying. If they would have kept him as a starter, but no, you wanted to create Michael Vick 2.0. And
I was okay with the Kaepernick thing. I think
I didn't have an issue.
I was okay with it. I didn't have a problem with it as well, but I just think he had a chemistry. Like Alex Smith wasn't doing a bad job. You know what I'm saying? He got hurt. And bro came in with the fro.
The only thing I will say is the offense just was not dynamic enough with them. It wasn't quite as explosive. Kaepernick added a wrinkle of some of the stuff
he did
that they did with that. You guys said something about Ulbrich, and I want to touch on that before we do get out on this topic, and then you can say whatever else you were going to say as well. But I just want to get this in before I forgot. One reason that I think, because Arthur Blank did say that he's going to strongly suggest that they keep Ulbrich, whoever the coach is, as a coordinator. And I've seen mixed opinions about that. A lot of fans really want to keep him here. Some fans are like, oh, Arthur Blank is going to mess this up by trying to force him on him. And I don't see any head coach coming in here, especially if it's John Harbaugh, which I don't think this is going to be, and seeing Ulbrich as a problem to hire. He has been a premier defensive coordinator the last few seasons. He was great with the Jets. I think they were always like a top 5, top 10 defense. Even when they dropped off, they still were a dangerous defense, and they lost some players. And Ulbrich has been able to coach guys up, even when he loses some of his stud players. He's still able to get players in position to be still somewhat serviceable. He's been great with Atlanta. I can't remember the last time Atlanta was a top 5 sack team or close to 1 or 2. So, and he's also been a head coach in this league as well, too, although just as an interim capacity. He has been a head coach in this league, so he does understand some of the nuance of what that is. So really smart football IQ guy. I feel as though he coaches on defense the way that Kyle Shanahan and McVay coaches. He wants to do the things that the offense doesn't like. So he thinks from an offensive standpoint when he coaches his defense. And that's something that he said in the preseason when we hired him. Or in the offseason last year when we hired him, about that he learned from Shanahan and McVay while he was here. They would come into his office and ask him, hey, what would you do if we did this? How would you go about this if we did this? So he's a sponge that soaked up a whole lot, and I really like how he's combobulated a lot of his these coaching styles together. So I think that Ulbrich, for that reason, will be is a really nice place to go with that. And then there was somebody else you said about.
I do also want to interject breaking news. Harbaugh or whatever.
John
Harbaugh. He just said he wants to Harbaugh. He just said he's going to update us on what team he's going to select here this coming week. So he's already got his mind made up. Yeah, he's gonna narrow it down to 3 to 4 teams. He said we'll know by this week.
Well, we know Atlanta. It was Atlanta, New York, and I guess I don't know if it was Miami, but I know it was Atlanta, New York, and he said he wasn't interviewing because he already put it out there. He wasn't interviewing with everybody.
Yeah, put that out there. The man is almost 70. Right, 60, late 60s.
He don't look. He's not a bad looking age, whatever age.
I'd say he's probably in 60s, maybe late 50s.
Right, I think he's in 60s. Yeah,
he's older than he is the older brother of Jim Harbaugh. So for whatever that's worth, and I think Harbaugh looks. I mean, Jim looks older than John, essentially. But real quick, shout out to the chat. King Ichi says, "You see, Arthur Blank said not to touch Ulbrich." Or not to let him interview with anybody. And I agree with that. I think that's very telling. I believe that whoever the new coach is going to want him. And one thing I wanted to touch on real quick as well, too, because you talked about Kubiak's coaching style. You think he'd be really good for it.
My mic won't even on. I'm tripping. I'm sorry.
he's really good with zone runs and play action. And I think that contrary to popular belief, Penix can actually play under center some. He didn't play a lot under center at Washington, but he is able to play under center. He's able to run the play action under center. I think that Kubiak can get something out of him. But we run a zone heavy scheme, and I even believe that if he does come here, there's a strong chance that we probably keep D-Led as our offensive line coach. D-Led has been able to get a whole lot. He's been able to squeeze a lot out of Caleb McGarry and Chris Lindstrom. When we first drafted both of those guys, we drafted them the same year, I think both in the first round. McGarry was supposed to be the better player of that, and he was a little bit more disappointing. And Lindstrom came along really strong early on. But he was really able to get a lot out of Caleb McGarry and really just play to his strengths. And he's been our run game coordinator on the offense. So I do think that Kubiak coming here could offer the same things that Stefanski offers a little bit as well too. Is there anything you guys want to touch on before we talk about our next topic with some of the player moves that we might make coming off in the offseason?
Harbaugh is actually 63, just for reference.
Okay, he's 63. See, the reason I say that is because I doubt he's going to a team where they on rebuild mode.
That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense.
You know what I'm saying? You don't spend 17 years in the league to get with a team to rebuild them. You get with a team that's away probably 2 to 3 pieces. You could make something happen. Keep in mind, a lot of coaches are gonna have to also take in the fact that we don't have a first round pick. So they get stuck with it, and that's going to be a decision. Do you want to roll with Penix? Because a lot of people don't feel like Penix like we do here. Even me, I'm not betting the future on him. I hope we don't, but the coaches are going to be like, okay, do I want to roll with this quarterback Penix, right, for the remainder or whatever? That's going to be a good question, a good thing to visit too in the future.
Right.
Yeah. Arthur Blank did definitely say that he said that Penix was is the franchise quarterback, and there are fans who are not happy about that. Me myself personally, I think you do yourself a disservice if you don't move forward with Penix right now. Drafting a quarterback in the first round, if you missed on a first round quarterback, that sets your team back tremendously. I think it sets you back further than any other first round bust that there could be. Quarterback, that's one of the heaviest hits because of all the capital that goes into them. And I mean that's the leader of your offense and your team. But I do think that Penix is very serviceable still, and he was not the reason that this team was not good last year. He's not the reason that we missed the playoffs ultimately. I think he was still good enough to at least be a game manager. So that is the good thing about Penix. He's really good and judicious with the football. And I think that that's something that any coach can turn into something specifically. And real quick, shout out to the chat again. The homie Trenton, #1 Falcons fan for sure. Y'all got to get like my boy for real, because he calls it like how he feels it. We don't always agree eye to eye, but I love his takes. He says, don't like the idea of getting in the Harbaugh sweepstakes. We want power. He wants power, and he wants to wait till next week. He's narrowing down the search, and like it's National Signing Day, and we don't have time for ego.
Come on, Trent. Trent.
I'm on the same thing. I said the same thing, Trent. Like this dude,
the trash cans. Boy.
He acting like LeBron.
Yeah, I was thinking that. What is this,
come on, bro.
20?
Hey, see, man, what were you talking about before? Everybody's so hyped. I'm like, first of all, this dude, I could see we was getting somebody got like 3-4 chips, made it happen. But this man has done minimum. Oh, he's done a lot. Yeah, he's made to the playoffs. Is that all
he made to the playoffs? He got him a Super Bowl, but
and he got more wins than he got losses.
He does, and you got to give credit to that. He's very much an executive type of role, like a CEO role that kind of manages and oversees things. And I'm not sure how much he lost the team. I heard that he lost the team, but the team did respond to him well. But he kind of inherited a pretty good team with some really good players. After Brian Billick won that first Super Bowl with Trent Dilfer, while they had Ray Lewis and all those guys out there, I think over the next couple years, I think Brian Billick had made the playoffs for 2 of the next 5 years. Whereas when you look at Harbaugh after he won the Super Bowl, he didn't make the playoffs for 4 of the next 5 years. In the year that they drafted, when they drafted Lamar, that same year they were talking about potentially firing him if he didn't make the playoffs. At least that was the rumor mill. And he, to his credit, he made the decision to go away from Flacco, who was looking like he was starting to age and was looking like he was just making really bad decisions with the football. And he went with Lamar Jackson. He saved his job, and they made the playoffs. But and again, I don't want to take anything away from a champion, but I think he's walking with a swag as though he's Bill Parcells, or as though he's Belichick, or Jimmy Johnson, and I just don't see it. I truly just do not. I don't see it. Just in my humble opinion. So,
no, I don't see it either.
Those are some good cons, though, bro. Those are definitely some good cons you throwing at that situation. You definitely have to evaluate with those actual cons in place. I mean, whatever the pros are, you still have to evaluate with the cons. So those are some very good cons you're putting together, that you're putting out there.
Yeah, man.